What's going on, people? It's your boy Tony G, Tony Guns, back at y'all again with another one at Black Ops Band Dog TV. I want to welcome everybody this morning. First order of business, as usual, is building leaders and creating kings operation by building national development over generations. Now, with that being said, let's get straight to it. Today's true order of business is men and women, but I'm talking to the fellas. Men ability to detach from their emotions. A man's ability to detach from his emotions. Now, let's give context on that. I don't suggest by any means that you walk around numb or naive to things that's going on. Don't detach so much so that you remove yourself from the thing that make you human. Don't detach yourself so much so that you're not in tune to the individuals and the family members that you have a responsibility and duty that I always say you have a responsibility and duty to, that you are in tune with some of the things that they feel or some of the things that they have going on. But what I mean by that is detach yourself as much as needed. Not as much as possible, but as much as needed. And understand that things are situational. You get what I'm saying? Certain emotions serves us. Certain emotions serves us, and they serves us in a time of need. But the biggest thing is understanding when, where, and why to utilize different emotions. When, where, and why to rationalize with different emotions. When, where, and why to pull yourself away. So, in other words, it's more so a thing of being a better manager of your emotions. Not truly detaching, but being a better manager of your emotions. Understanding that it is important for us to detach from some of those unruly, unnecessary, and unforgiving emotions that we can sometimes stir up in us. That sometimes we can allow spill over into our everyday lives, into our family lives, that oftentimes disrupted so much so that sometimes those things become irreconcilable. Sometimes those things become irreparable. And before allowing it to reach that state, you have to take yourself or draw back sometimes, look within yourself and try to find a way to manage who you are, what you are, and what's important to you, and detach from those things that aren't. Now, you're in a relationship, you have to, I wouldn't suggest that you detach from your emotion within your relationship. But those negative emotions that don't truly serve you, detach yourself. It's nothing weaker than a man that is overly emotional. Women despise a man that is overly emotional. You yelling just as much as she yelling. You loud and abrasive just to get your point across. And then you get loud and more abrasive because you are more of a brute. You're stronger more often than not. And you feel that's the best way to deliver whatever communication or whatever you're trying to communicate. I know because I'm that same person. I grew up in that. And I got to stop continuously using that as an excuse and or a crutch. Now, it's not that it's a lie by any stretch of the imagination. I did grow up in that. That's the way that oftentimes we expressed ourselves, came through arguing, came through loud and aggressive. Now, that doesn't mean that we have to be considerably conscious of that notion, because it's a thin line. A man can project his voice and speak with compassion. I'm sorry, not compassion, but speak with passion. And you dare not always suggest that in that passion and in that moment, that it is strictly him being aggressive or abrasive. If you all listen to me as I give these podcasts, or not podcasts, but video logs, oftentimes it sounds a little brash and abrasive and things of that nature. But this is the way that I communicate. But it is a way of dialing that down and understanding, being able to watch your tone, monitor your tone, understand the things that you are saying and how you deliver them. Understand that those two coincide. What I just said is what you're saying and also how you deliver them. You ever heard the saying that it's not what you say, it's how you say it? Those two go together, because oftentimes that depicts on what that emotion that you're trying to give across. And if that is too harsh and is unable, and if that is too harsh, then oftentimes it renders itself hard for individuals to truly swallow, hard for individuals to digest, hard for individuals to intake. because of how harsh it is. And that isn't to dummy yourself down. If you're an individual that speak with conviction, if you're an individual that speak with sometimes even intensity to get your point across, I wouldn't suggest that you get rid of that or that you trash that to make someone else feel comfortable. What I would suggest that you do is find ways to alter that communicative skill. That communicative skill, because if you do not find a way to alter that, then ultimately what happens is that you start to trash those relationships around you. You start to destroy those relationships around you. You start to, so much so, individuals become reluctant to want to come to you for those conversational pieces. Sometimes in those moments where conversation is absolutely necessary and a necessity for you all to build on, individuals sometimes are reluctant to do so because of fear of your brash and abrasive way of going about things. So it's about monitoring it. Detach from those emotions that are negative, those emotions that bring you to a point that you wouldn't otherwise go if you're in a professional setting. And now maintain that. Sit on that for a minute and understand that I want you to interpret what I just said. Had you been in a professional environment, a setting, you had a boardroom meeting, could you find yourself angry and yelling and fussing and cussing in that boardroom meeting? When you're in a group, and you have a group of individuals that rely on you, they rely on your effective communication, they rely on you to give them direction, they rely on you to communicate the things that you need of them, the things that you want them to do, the things that's going to get you all from point A to point B, and the straightest line that it takes. The straightest line that it takes is the straightest line of communication, first and foremost. And with that, you have to understand that that's the way that a professional handles himself. So why not handle yourself in a professional manner and with a professional tone when dealing with the individuals that you love? Because those should be the individuals that are most important to you. Now, let's be clear on something right now. It's easier to emotionally detach from individuals in a boardroom, individuals that you work with, individuals that work for you. Why? Because you don't have the same feelings. You don't harbor the same feelings and emotion for those individuals. It's easier to understand that this is just business as opposed to being in a full-blown relationship or having a true relationship, a family relationship with individuals. That's totally different. The individuals closest to you oftentimes are the ones that affect your emotions the most. And rightfully so. Those are the ones that you're emotionally attached to the most, and rightfully so. But those are the ones that you should maintain and monitor your emotions with the most as well, because those individuals are the individuals that means the most to us. Those are the individuals that means the most to us. And if you manage your emotions well, oftentimes you inspire the same sentiments in those individuals that rely on you for that emotional atonement, for that emotional strength, for that emotion alone. But it's a man's ability to do so. And the best way to do so is to sit back and step back sometimes and take accountability. Accountability. Look at yourself and the things that you do. I already said monitor your tone. But look at the things and the things that you do that could sometimes make people either draw back from you or oftentimes draw people in. Draw people in, because that conviction that we speak with oftentimes and the emotion that we utilize within those convictions also, no, let's not always make it seem as if it's a bad thing. Oftentimes that's what draw people into you. That becomes magnetic for certain individuals. So you attract certain things with that same raw emotion. But it's about monitoring that, because you have to be careful and use prudent circumspection with the things and the people that you attract with certain emotions. You get what I'm saying? You have to be mindful of that. So it's about, one, taking accountability, understanding what it is and what it does for you, understand the benefits of it, understand how you could also be a detriment to the things that you're trying to accomplish. That is the most important thing, taking accountability, monitor and not only monitor, but take inventory and stock on the things that matters truly to you and how they affect you in the manner in which they affect you emotionally, and then try to manage it from that aspect. But okay, we already spoke on accountability. The next thing is responsibility, which coincides with accountability. Being responsible for the things that you do, being responsible for the things that you say, being responsible for the way that you act, being responsible for the way that you react, being responsible for the individuals around you. with regards to your emotional status and how it reflects. But not only how it reflects, how it affects the individuals, again, that you have a responsibility and a duty to. Being responsible, having a responsibility, taking and adopting responsibility for your actions, for your emotions. Accountability, responsibility. And what else? Capability. That's what it boils down to. Accountability and responsibility boils down to capability. Having enough gall to be capable. Having enough mental fortitude to be capable of conducting yourself as a hard man, a stoic man, a man's man, a ladies' man, a family man, a God-fearing man. Whether you are religious or not, it has to be a higher power that you look to, and whether you decide to call him God or not, or call it God or not, or even look to the God in you and answer to that, regardless of how you dog tangle or twist it, it has to be an accountability, a responsibility, and a capability of us as men to carry out those different actions with a logical, clean and clear, open mind. And it takes practice. I'm not sitting here trying to talk to you all as if I'm perfect with it, so that's why I'm bringing it to you. As a matter of fact, it's the exact opposite. I'm coming to you all with this information because I'm not perfect in it. And this is something that I struggle in. I struggle in it daily, so I'm trying to convey this message not only to you all, but to myself, so I can look back at these videos and take accountability, take responsibility that I may be more capable. And it shows itself in capability. These are the things that we deal with. These are the things that we know. These are the things that we know are important to us. These are the things that matters to us the most. And in those three things, accountability, responsibility, and capability, the bottom line and the derivative and the common denominator is ability. It's ability. A man's ability to detach from his emotions. Live strong or die weak. Do man shit. Ain't no pressure. Until then, if you like what I'm putting down, hit that thumbs up, like and subscribe. Always remember to do man shit. Always remember to establish certain boundaries for yourself from other people. That way you can conduct yourself in a manner conducive to yourself and your well-being, as well as your families. Always remember, let that dog out.